Yeah, I better dig into this. Got going on here. Start doing the intro for YouTube VoDs and that sort of thing. But yeah, if you're new here, every couple of weeks we do this live stream, and basically what it entails is, you know, us just chatting about a topic for a little bit, and then me digging into your images that you guys have submitted. Every Monday I post a share a shoot post, which you can see here. This was yesterday's post, and then I just ask you guys just to pop your images in the comments down here. That happens every Monday, and it just happens that every 2 weeks we actually do a live stream. But yeah, every Monday, if you want to share images, then I will give feedback either way. If you want to get some free CC from me, then this is the place to do it. I really started doing these sort of share shoots is because I would constantly get emailed with images and on Instagram and on Facebook messages, and people like, oh, can you check out this image, can you give me some feedback? I was like, you know what, let's just put it all in one place. If you don't do it on the Monday, you're not you're not getting any free CC, but I'm happy to do it on a Monday. So that's how it kind of started out years ago, and it's kind of taken off from there. But yeah, we get some, you know, incredible images, beautiful images posted here and shared. So you know, even though the caliber of images being shared here is like incredibly high, you know, don't be put off. You know, we all started somewhere, and I'm, you know, as long as you're not posting something black and white or something like that, you know, I'm pretty open to people sharing what they're working on, and obviously getting some feedback from me as well. So we're going to be doing that today. Though I wanted to jump into Lightroom, which I have a little bit of play in Lightroom. Like I said, I did a shoot on Sunday, and which was, you know, this young lady here, and kind of just wanted to jump into that room and have a little bit of a scan through, show you what I was thinking, show you what I was go through the setups that I used and that sort of thing, talk about how I was lighting it and how I was planning some of the setups with the Post Pro in mind, right? Especially this one here, which is shot in daylight outside, and me playing with some of the lighting settings to actually get some of this effect that we see here, and I'll talk about that once we jump into Lightroom in a second. But yeah, so I just wanted to do that, just have a chat about Lightroom. Let me ask you guys this though: what are you guys using? If you don't mind sharing in chat, what you're using? Are you using Lightroom? Are you using Capture One? Or are you using Adobe Camera Raw? I mean, they're the three core ones. If you're using something else, then let me know. But I guess there are some people who are not using any, right? You just I doubt it though. If you're following this stream, if you're following my work, I doubt you're somebody that just, no, I just edit my images on Instagram. Yeah, I doubt you're the type of person who's following my work. Let's have a look. Any questions I missed? Yeah, Vlad says a 180 centimeter umbrella. Nice. Impossible. I barely use the thing. Not compensating. You can't sell an umbrella, Vlad. You just never know when you might use it. You can't have enough umbrellas, mate. 100. That's a good size as well. You can get some. You can throw that up anywhere. You can. It's super easy to gel an umbrella. I don't know, man. I don't think you should sell it. You know. Dave was saying a run and gun thing. I knew it going in. So yeah. So you're working with models at events. So that's kind of your. I mean, it's great if you can get a few shots and then you're done, right? You're not having to spend all day and then you're out. You know, that's great if you're. It's especially if you've been there before and you know the area. Yeah. Hey John, welcome, buddy. Yeah, welcome. Yeah, I was asking at the start about new people in here, so it's great to see you. I've started to try and make a bit more effort about telling people that I'm going to be streaming as well. I usually put out an email now telling people as well who are on the mailing list, just go and look, doing a stream later on, drop by. But yeah, welcome, buddy. Those of you just joining, we're going to be going through images in a bit later on. If you wanted to share your work and get some feedback and that sort of thing, then scroll back to last night's post, which is this image on my Facebook page, is the share a shoot. And then just pop your image in here and we can go through it and have a look in a bit. Yeah. Let's have a look. It's so helpful. Thank you. I learned so much. Good, Paul. You mean you learned so much from what, the previous streams, something like that? Yeah. Alex says, am I missing something with the umbrella? I do have one. Don't really use it all that much. Alex, you've got to be trolling, right? Yeah, everybody's rolling their eyes. I am not going to go into my rant again about them, but as soon as you brought it up, the reason Jake hates softboxes is this. They just produce this very vignetted light that has this inherent hotspot that, regardless of how much diffusion you have, you can never really avoid it. So, and that's purely because the light is just coming straight out the front, right? So this light, the softboxes, doesn't really replicate any natural light. It's supposed to replicate window light originally, only in the fact that it's square, but it doesn't look like window light. It's just not. It's not a very it's very easy to use, but it's not a great tool for controlling light. Umbrellas and stuff will spread the light over a far larger area, and is going to be a little bit cleaner. Beauty dishes, even better, right? So here you can see we don't have that hotspot because it's got that dish in the middle, so the light hits that dish in the middle of the beauty dish and then bounces back out. So it's far cleaner in terms of even spread of light. Yeah. So yeah, unless you're a ProPhoto user. no, obviously, no offense to anybody who shoots ProPhoto, but just gotta be careful, you know. So yeah, that's the elevator pitch on why I'm always encouraging people to burn this. So I mean, use umbrellas. Let's have a look. Just a networking thing. Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah. So let's have a look. Most people, Lightroom. Dave's still in Capture One. I mean, Dave's using Capture One. So suppose give a hotspot or umbrellas reflect. Look at this. See, or Paul could have just given you a forward response. Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Paul. Yeah, use Lightroom. Giles says Lightroom, dropping it into Photoshop for background replacement, and then back to Lightroom to finish off and give it the look I want. Okay, interesting. Yeah, okay. Because the masks I suppose you're actually replacing a background in Photoshop, but the smart masks or the AI mask or whatever it is in Lightroom are really good now. They're really good in terms of them being able to work out the subject and that sort of thing. I guess if you're actually replacing backgrounds, then a little bit more, more advanced. Then yeah, makes sense to go back in there. Yeah, Lightroom as well. Plastic Lightroom here, but I think we should highlight classic Lightroom and how bad the new one is. Oh god, okay. What makes the old Lightroom better? Okay, so I guess I'm on the old one because I don't I don't know. What am I mean, I guess so I'm on Lightroom Classic. Yeah. Now the reason I'm on Lightroom Classic and not the other one is because I feel like Lightroom went through a period where it was solely, and Photoshop did this as well. Photoshop and Lightroom went through a period where they were being developed for iPad users and iPhone users driving around the bend. Like, professionals were the backbone of their business, and then they were like, do you know what? Let's just focus on people working on 6,000 images on an iPad. Like, so a lot of the features and tools were like sort of touchscreen based, and it just wasn't as easy to do what you could do before. I mean, in my opinion, Apple went down this route as well several years ago with regards to just like the laptops and that sort of thing. They just made them, this would be perfect for you working in a coffee shop. Like, no, I need to be using it on set, like, doing my emails and yeah. So anyway, I'm going off on a tangent, but I'm not sure what that is referring to. But for me, I'm on the classic Lightroom just because for me it just has a little bit more control for what I'm after. Capture One for the base edit, Dave says, and then cull them finished in Photoshop. Add-ons include Portrait Pro, Boris Effects, Nick Collection. Okay, so you're using a lot of third-party options as well. Yeah. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Portrait Pro, I remember that. Yeah. I used to use that in the studio. John says, yeah, I got the email, otherwise I wouldn't have noticed it. Oh, that's great. That's great, John. Yeah, because it was kind of my idea, and a few people have said that, especially seeing as not as many people are on Facebook anymore. So yeah, that's good. Yeah. New Lightroom is missing the calibration tab. Are you kidding me? And the UI is overall so big you'll scroll 10 times more. There you go. Exactly. You see, it's because I mean, look. Obviously, I would never rant about anything, but and act like a grumpy old man. But yeah, you know, that's good. That's good to know. Vlad doesn't have the calibration tab. Like, what on earth? Paul says you love the stream. Learn a ton from that. Yeah, nice, Paul. Yeah, that's good. I mean, yeah, it's just. I mean, people have said that before, and it is just. I mean, for me, it's just an excuse to hang out and nerd out, and also get a bit of an idea on what other people are doing and working on, and angles and that sort of stuff. So most of you on here are Lightroom. I'm not seeing any Adobe Camera Raw, even though I certainly know a lot of people do use it. I know, Alex. Yeah, I swear you did that on purpose. So Dave says, very rare. I use a softbox ungridded. I want directional light most of the time as working on location with ambient. Yeah, grids will definitely help, and the like feathering them as well can be, you know, a huge help as well. Yeah. Oh, Dave, I didn't realize you use ProPhoto. You are a softbox user, yeah, but we're slowly weaning you off them, Paul. Yeah, I saw you using more of the umbrella through the scrim and that sort of thing. You know, I'm like we're slowly weaning you off them. I think you're doing great. You just got to stay strong, stick to the 5 steps, and look, you know, we're all here with you. Okay. Yeah, using classic. Paul's using classic. Giles is using classic. For those people who joined in to the stream late, I'm not purposefully away from the microphone and stroking my crutch. I do actually have a dog on my lap that I'm having to look after. Stroking my crutches on Thursdays with the OnlyFans stream. I use Lightroom to browse the images but edit them in Camera Raw. Okay, I use Lightroom to browse the images but edit them in Camera Raw. Interesting. And for the color ones, I sometimes need the CAD software. Interesting, Thomas. Okay. So is that just because that's just what you've always done? But it's interesting that you use Lightroom to browse the images but edit them in Camera Raw. Huh. Yeah. All right, and so a couple of you mentioned about going backwards and forwards and that sort of thing. What sort of time percentage are you spending in Lightroom before you go into Photoshop? So like for me, right, I do use Lightroom, and I'm maybe doing like 20% of my time spent in Lightroom, and then 80% is in Photoshop, right? So I'm just in Lightroom doing the white balance and, you know, a little bit of spot coloring with the HSL. What else am I doing? Obviously the curves in terms of exposures, and, you know, raising the shadows and making sure the highlights aren't clipping it. So I'm doing like those sorts of, you know, pretty big global adjustments in Lightroom, and then I do all of the fine tuning in Photoshop, so like the skin and, you know, dodge and burn and sharpening and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, for me, I'm 20% in Lightroom and 80% in Photoshop. Like, are you guys doing? Sounds like a lot of you are doing most of it. Some of you may even be 80% in Lightroom, 20% Photoshop, just to finish up. Kind of interested to see what sort of times you're spending where. Yeah. So Giles says, yeah, classic all the way, but the other did allow me to grab images on the go, which is good. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I mean that is great, but you can have both, right? If you're paying for the CC every month, you can have like the classic as well, the non-classic. I know my wife uses the other Lightroom on her mobile, and like, you know, for a lot of the images, for people who don't need to do too much heavy lifting, it's great. Yeah. So Dave says full workflow is Capture One, Photoshop C1. Oh, okay. So you're in Capture One, then you Photoshop. Okay, so that's interesting. A couple people have said that, and I'm actually the same. So I'll do like, you know, whatever it was, you know, spend 20% in Lightroom, Photoshop for the most of it, and then I'll just bring them back finally maybe I actually use Lightroom noise to add noise to the images before I upload them to Facebook and Instagram and that sort of thing. And that is just a fine layer of noise just to stop the compression too much. But yeah, so I do bring them back into Lightroom, and then they're exported to like web sizes. So 2048 pixels on the long side, and then if it's a high res final file, it's like 4,500 pixels at, well, it doesn't matter what the DPI is, but yeah, 12 by 18 at 250 DPI, or 4,500 pixels by 3,000. So yeah, so I usually just export out various sizes from Lightroom. Dave says, got to admit to using double screen laptop with a touchscreen. Double screen laptop. So you have two laptops, or you have another screen plugged into your laptop with a touchscreen and pen. Got to say, I love it. Able to spot edit. It'll select directly. Images are brilliant. Yeah. I mean, so you're using a touchscreen and a pen to do. Interesting. Okay. So what you're looking at the screen, but you've got another laptop there, is what you're saying? Or you plug that sort of screen that you're working on. Aren't they super expensive, Dave? Like, aren't those things with the actual, screen tablets with a pen, aren't they like super expensive? Also, I'm not sure in the new Lightroom you can even reorder the tabs and develop module and device. Love it, Vlad. Yeah, I mean, look, it is annoying when they take away little bits of functionality like that. And trust me, we get into Photoshop later on, and I'll gladly moan about some of the window changes that they've made in there that drive me around the bend. Dave says your row lights definitely work better with scrims and shoot throughs. Yeah, I mean, so we'll have a look at the shoot in a minute, but yeah, I mean, I was using a mix of both. Yeah, like several, I think a couple of setups I wasn't using, they weren't diffused, and then on some of them they were bounced onto something, into something, and that sort of thing. So yeah, I mean, they're already soft to begin with, but yeah, having it's just easier to throw them through a scrim to just really soften them up. It's beautiful. Yeah. And Thomas is using Lightroom when tethered. Yeah, exactly. So if I have to tether, if I can't get away with it, I hate tethering, but if I have to, I will use Lightroom, yeah. So Vlad says, yeah, it's funny nowadays I'm 90% Lightroom and Photoshop just for compositing and maybe a bit of dodge and burn. Funnily enough, I am trained as a professional beauty rep. Are you, Vlad? Yeah, really? Okay. I didn't know that. But so I mean, fair play to you. That means you're getting most of it just in camera the way that you want, and your style is a little bit rawer in the sense of it being a little bit more cinematic. It's not overly glamorized or anything like that. Beauty work, like, and I know your background is in beauty, but your work is a little bit more organic. So it kind of makes sense to be doing most of it in Lightroom. Yeah. Just as I use Lightroom for the basic adjustments, but spend most of the time in Photoshop. Yeah, I like the control in Photoshop, adding layers and adjusting opacity of everything. Exactly. Yeah, I'm the same, John. Yeah, doing the big global things like white balance, exposure, that sort of thing, Lightroom, and then boom into Photoshop to really fine tune it. Yeah, as little as possible in Photoshop. Layer clone on skin only, about 60% on the background placement. No replacement image, 100% Lightroom. Okay, nice. Yeah, that's good. So you're not a fan. You just want to get on with it in Lightroom, get the images done and that sort of thing. And yeah, look, everybody's different. I mean, I don't actually mind retouching. Just put on an audiobook and sit down, and it's yeah, I like it. Yeah. But I mean, people just I totally get why people don't want to sit there for hours and then retouching. Yeah. Alex says I use most of the time in Photoshop first to do retouching, dodge and burn, and then do global adjustments in Lightroom after. Oh, okay. So I use most of the time in Photoshop first to do the retouching, dodging and burn, and then do the global adjustments in Lightroom after. But I know no better. Is that wrong? It's a great question, Alex. Yeah, it's a great question, and I suppose it's one of those things that unless you have done it differently or you've seen somebody else doing it before, there's no real reason why you would know that that's different. Okay, so wrong is probably the wrong term, but in my opinion, it would be better to do the bigger global adjustments up front with the raw file, because there you've got the maximum amount of data. So like, you know, white balance and exposure, for example, like these are global adjustments that you really should be doing on the raw to begin with before you do anything else. That way you've got you're using the most amount of data when you bring it into Photoshop. Now you can, if you want to, which what a few of us have said here, we actually come back to Lightroom just to do any like just final tweaks, nothing crazy like sharpening. I'll probably do in Lightroom as well, right at the very end. So I don't do it, you know, any sharpening beforehand. I'll do it right at the very end, based on the size of the image, right? So I see a lot of people just doing one image, doing the sharpening in Photoshop, and then they export a web, and then they export a high res for print. And it's like they need different amounts of sharpening. So yeah, Lightroom as a final touch up is, you know, great for doing that. But yeah, I would honestly consider doing some of the heavier global adjustments right at the start, and then doing your dodge and burn and that sort of thing in Photoshop afterwards. What can happen if you do it the other way around is that when you start to do some sort of heavier global adjustments afterwards, is it can kind of exaggerate any imperfections you may have added to the image with dodge and burn and that sort of thing. Maybe, you know, you're trying to burn underneath the jawline, but you've slipped up here a little bit. It's like you don't really notice it. But then if you bring it into Lightroom and then start doing some, you know, some global adjustments like contrast or white balance and that sort of thing, you may start to see some of these things that you've moved around in Photoshop. So I would encourage you to maybe try to do Lightroom first and then just doing the final bits in Photoshop afterwards. Initial capture 1 is a basic color, saturation, strain, and focus check. Okay, yeah, 500 to 600 images in around 90 minutes. Okay. And then export TIFFs to Photoshop, where the timing can go through the roof. Pole dancers, bruisers, spend a lot of time covering bruises, scars. Yeah, running them through. Yeah. So yeah, I would say your workflow is fairly indicative of a lot of people's, you know, getting the images chosen and then getting them done in Photoshop. So you're using Capture One, okay? So exporting as a TIFF, yeah, that makes sense. So I'm in Lightroom, I export my images as a Photoshop, as a PSD, no real big difference there other than it saves a little bit of space, but that's it. And then just working on all of them as a patch, yeah, that makes sense, yeah. To be exact, just Lightroom for browse, Adobe Camera Raw for basic adjustments and mask, and Photoshop sometimes back to. Okay, so you're backwards and forwards a lot, yeah. There are laptops with two screens out there. One is above the keyboard. Where's the other one then? That's where my screen is, above the keyboard. What do you mean? So Dave says, as this ZenBook Duo is a full-size touchscreen, then a half-size touchscreen above the keyboard. Oh, so this is what Vlad was saying. Okay, that can be used as a normal screen, or you can set it with touch buttons. So I've got the Apple Mac with like the little touch bar at the top, yeah, which is like half an inch. You know, you can't really do anything with it apart from use it for emojis. Okay, interesting. Yeah, a bit like a touchscreen loop deck. Gotcha. Okay, nice. Yeah. Nice. Okay, I'll have a look. Okay, I can see that. I can see that screen there. It's a chunky. Okay. There's a chunky. Interesting. Okay. You're right. It is half of it. I see what you're saying. Okay. All right. Okay. Second time back in Capture One is to finalize for export and make any consistent adjustments on for the set. The second time back is to finalize and export and make any consistent adjustments for the set. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, so Dave's right. You know, similar to me. If you're trying to get like a global grade, I mean, I will do that in Photoshop. I don't really do any grading as the final Lightroom bit, but yeah, it makes sense if you've got all the images at the end and you can just tighten them all up. Yeah, that does make sense. Alex says, I've been on 2 live streams so far, and each time I've walked away with so much more knowledge and understanding. Amazing. Yeah, brilliant, man. Yeah, brilliant. You just got to sit through my old man ranting occasionally, and you might find something useful in there. But yeah, it's good having you here, man. I appreciate you being here. Did use Lightroom for a good while, and when Capture One brought out their Sony version, I found the colors just look so much better from camera. I did use Lightroom for a good while, but when Capture One brought out their Sony version, really, I found the colors just look so much better from camera. Interesting. Okay, Dave. So this is so you raised an interesting point there. So years ago, I did a camera side-by-side test color-wise for color gels and that sort of stuff, right? I was looking at cameras, and I did the Fuji, the Nikon, and obviously the Sony, doing color gel shoots on all of them. And at the time, I was working on the images in Lightroom, and at the time, the colors from the Sony one were just not good, man. Yeah, not good at all. So it's interesting to hear you say that actually you were using the Sony images in Capture One, and a different story. Interesting. Yeah, I wasn't aware of that. Yeah. Any plans to do a workshop in USA? We'd love to see you in California. I know, man. Yeah, it's jinxed. It's twice it was supposed to happen. Once years ago, and then second time it was kind of all booked and not booked, but super close to being booked. I was going to be doing a tour of the US, and then COVID kicked in. Yeah. Obviously, my main reason for going over there is to do the Baltimore workshop. I've just got a huge contingent of just color gel fans over there in Baltimore. It's nuts. Yeah, I really just have to do that. Yeah. I would say just don't use Adobe Color Profile in Lightroom. What do you mean by that, Vlad? Don't use the Adobe Color Profile in Lightroom. So, are you talking about the actual embedded profile at the start, because I use what is it? Adobe RGB. What is it? It's not sRGB. It's the other one. Adobe 98. Adobe 98. Is that what you mean? Using that? I'm pretty sure that's the one I use in Lightroom. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, interesting. Like, there's no right or wrongs here. I think it's what you get used to. A lot of people bringing different workflows to the table here, even in this small group here. Is there no ladies on tonight? What the hell? It's just all you big burly men. So yeah, if there's any ladies in chat, let me know. Yeah, so there's no right or wrong. I think it's what works for you. Like people were saying there, yeah, I've got this certain camera, and I think that using it with Capture One works better in that regard. That I have certainly heard before. Like the Pentax, for example, was another good example of that. The Pentax was horrendous in Lightroom for obvious reasons, and then great in Capture One. So I think it's not crazy to have a look at what works for your system, your workflow, your speed as well. Dave, is Capture One subscription, or you just pay for it once and that's it? You've got it forever. What is the deal with Capture One? That's the other thing to consider now as well. Is the fact that you can get here in the UK. A subscription for the latest Photoshop and the latest Lightroom for $10 a month. So that's the other thing as well. It's like, well, I'm already kind of paying for it. Do I need to buy Capture One as well? Yeah. So you can have both, Dave. So it is you can either buy it outright, or you have a subscription based. How often do they bring out a mainline version? Like every 2 years, every year? Yeah, you pay monthly. Do you mind me asking how much you pay a month, Dave, for Capture One? Let's have a look. As a Sony user, will admit grudgingly other brands do handle color better. Yeah, it's just one of those. Yeah, it's just one of those things, Dave. I think there again, like this is another good example of horses for courses, as it were, and the right tool for the job. I work in the studio where sometimes there'll be a lot of flat areas of single tone, like a background, right, like a grey background. So. Like the Canons, for example, don't deal with that very well. If I was a wedding shooter, I'd switch to Canon tomorrow. Like, no questions asked. I think if you give them a lot of data to work with, especially skin tones and the greens, for example, as well, absolutely beautiful, gorgeous. But in the studio, in my opinion, the Canons struggle with like flat expanses of data, like gradients and that sort of stuff. It's like, I don't know what to do with it. I'm just going to fill it with crap. And they can tend to be add colors as a result of that. Sony, like if I was a still life shooter, photographing wine bottles or food or something like that, I would switch to Sony tomorrow. Like, absolutely. Like the quality and just how clean the images are, razor sharp, lines, very 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 limited refraction anywhere, especially with their lenses. Almost no vignetting, so it's a very clinical looking image, which is great for still life and product photography. So again, it's horses for courses, right? Oh, you mean the camera profile, Vlad? Okay, yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Profile not the color space. Thank you. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I guess the inbuilt profile, like natural, portrait, saturated, etc. Yeah, gotcha. Yeah. Yep. I would say camera profiles are just plain better compared to the Adobe ones, at least for my old Nikon. Okay. Yeah. So it's really, Capture One is $20 a month, Dave. I'm surprised at that. I did not realize it was expensive as that. Almost as much as Adobe. There is a buy version that gets around £12 a month. Okay. Yeah, true. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. So Thomas is just talking about the profiles of the software. I mean, the Canon software since Lightroom just look awful. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. Yes, it's funny, right? It is like we're all kind of, and I suppose, I've been shooting Nikon for so long, I don't even really notice it anymore. I'm used to doing that sort of thing. Switching now, I guess there would be a shift. Like all my presets in Lightroom that I have, we'll have a look in a minute. Like they're all kind of suited to that Nikon profile to begin with. Yeah. Paul says, yeah, it's pricey. I was using it to weather cost. Lightroom doesn't weather Sony. What do you mean? Yeah, it's pricey. I was using it to weather cost. Lightroom doesn't weather Sony. Okay. Tether. I was like, Paul's out there in all weathers. He's got to be testing Lightroom and Capture One in the rain. Dave says they update pretty frequently with maintenance, etc. Big updates happen a few times a year. Oh, really? Okay, so they're Okay, so they're right on it then. Okay, yeah. Okay. Right. Let me back cracking here already. Let me put this dog down because my legs have gone numb. 2 seconds. Oh. Come on, there you go. Oh. No, you can't go back up. No. Right. Except with their masking. Oh, right, they don't have the masking. Yeah, interesting. So, like, selecting subjects and that sort of stuff, Capture One doesn't have that. Interesting. Okay. So Vlad says, I'm curious how a custom profile with a color checker passport would compare, but I don't have one. Yeah, so who the hell is using those, right? Are you guys using color checkers and all that sort of stuff and gray cards? And see, this is something that I don't get as many interviews and and that sort of thing as I used to, but years ago, like doing tons of interviews and questions and that sort of stuff, and it would always be like, oh, Jake, you're known for your color, rich, beautiful colors. Can you talk us through your workflow and how you maintain that? And it's just like you're using a gray card color checker, you're using spider screen calibration tool, and you getting the profile. Like, I'm not doing any of that personally. Now, a lot of that is because, again, I'm not a still life shooter. I don't need to match the cornflower blue logo, pixel for pixel using the Pantone and the hex values. I don't need to do that. For my images here, like, this is not accurate color. I'm trying to tell a story with color. So if anybody's watching this and maybe newer, not sure what they should be doing, and like the kit that they need and that sort of stuff, that I haven't used a color checker or grey card in 20 years. I calibrate my screen by eye, but again, that comes with experience. But yeah, don't rush out there thinking that you need to have all that stuff unless you're looking for something specific. Like, no, I need to get this exact color from this product to the screen to print. Right? That is difficult to do well. You do need decent kit and a firm understanding of how that happens. But yeah, it's just not something that I've ever done. Yeah, so Giles here says, you've not used a color checker since I did work for catalogs. So you do use one for that sort of thing, and it makes sense. Yeah, if you're doing stuff where it's got to look the same. Yeah, I would love to try it, but I'm not giving one more penny a day to go. Yeah, no, the stuff is expensive, man. Yeah, it's just not. For me, like I said, I'm trying to tell a story, or emote with color. So I'm not I'm not worried about it too much. I'm just going to be doing something that's a little bit more based on a look and a feel. So let's have a look at this. Shoot here that I did on Sunday. So a model that I've worked with many years ago, and she wanted to update. It's a good friend. She wanted to update some of her sort of images. She's changing career paths a little bit. She used to be a fitness model, and now she's doing other bits and pieces. So she wanted an update in terms of portraits and that sort of thing. So I said, look, head on over, look at some of my work, come back with the sort of things you want to cover in terms of setups that you want, and we can do that. So this is one of those times where I kind of forget that young people don't use websites anymore. So she only looked at my Instagram. Now, for those of you guys on here who follow me on here, some of you may know that my Instagram is about 12 months behind my Facebook. So stuff that I upload here, July 2023, probably won't make it onto Instagram until July 2024. And that's just because I don't use Instagram that much, and I post a few times, and I'm just posting the older content that I'm working on. So this lady didn't see any of my new work or anything like that, so she couldn't. I was like, did you see any of my other bits and pieces? She's like, oh no, I didn't see that. I was only on your Instagram. I didn't see your website. It's like, right, okay. So that's my fault for not being clear on that, but still, it's all good. So yeah, so she like sort of came to me three or four setups, so we managed to get 3 of them done. So I have to chat about what I was doing here. So this one, natural light outside, right, and cloudy day, as in like cloud, and then bright sunlight, cloud, bright sunlight. So for me, if I'm shooting natural light, which is very, very rare, I kind of do want to at least give it a little bit of personality, right? So we can see here all the shadows and stuff are this nice blue color, and her skin for the most part is is pretty much correct in terms of tone. So let's have a look at what I'm doing here to do this. So let's see if I've got any. There is some sort of like BTS-ish. You can see what's going on. Okay, so up here I've got the Rotolight Titans LED light up here. So I'm using the Rotolight's LED light just here, just out of shot. So I'm using that in broad daylight, and then I have this scrim here as well. So the scrim is actually covering her, but you can see the scrim shadow that it's casting here. So she's in that scrim shadow. Okay, so the sunlight is being a little bit diffused. We've got this nice bright sunlight behind, and then this Titan Rotolight LED light here, just out of shot here, is set to 10,000 Kelvin. So it's as orange as it'll go, right? So all the way, as orange as it'll go. Okay, so and then I'm kind of neutralizing that with the Kelvin of my camera. So I'm like sort of like bringing that down to like 4,500. Some of these with 4,000 to try and neutralize some of that orange light, and as a result of that, we sort of turn this daylight into this kind of blue color. Okay, so that's what's going on there. So nothing too complicated. It's just one LED light to camera right there, and then exposing for the LED light first because I wanted that to be max, right? So that's at max brightness, and then I kind of managing it. But with LEDs, you can, now I'm managing the exposure with the shutter speed. Like sometimes with flash, you got to be careful because you can't go over a certain flash speed without the flash syncing. So here you can see what I'm at ISO 30. So this is the Nikon sort of inbuilt ND filter that it has. So this is like a low 3 ISO. Those of you who are not sure what that means, so you have ISO 100, then you have like ISO 50, and then ISO 25 or 30 here. So that's basically 2 stops of ND. So the Nikon has 2 stops of neutral density to kind of really darken down the image, right? So it is helping to control all of that light, and it's one of the reasons I love the Nikons. They have that. They've had it for many years. In fact, at the time, like years ago, Fuji and I think Canon, like the lowest that their digital cameras went was ISO 200, which is what from here, ISO 50, 100. So it's like 3 stops brighter than this, right? So. And it's like, well, that's not a problem, Jake. If you're shooting flash, then unless you've got high-speed sync, which brings its own issues, then where you can shoot at a faster shutter speed, you're kind of limited to not being able to shoot wide open on the aperture, right? So there's that there as well. And you could go, well, Jake, why don't you just use an ND filter on the lens? Again, you could do that. The issue with using 1 stop, 2 stop, 3 stops of ND filter on the lens is that the camera really struggles to autofocus, especially quickly with that much glass that it, and darkness that it's got to get through. So long story short, really you can see how bright it is outside. f2.8 ISO 30, 25, whatever, and this is 400th of a second. So really trying to control that daylight down, and this is how we're able to get these beautiful colors, these really blue shadows here. Right, and that's because of my Kelvin shift that I'm doing. So I'm using an orange light, well, Kelvin orange, and then using that daylight to fill it in with that to get that beautiful blue color. So yeah, but yeah, I will admit I love these kind of BTS type shots. I really like this. It just gives a little bit more sense of scale for me as well. I kind of like that. I think I even got down, even kind of lower here to actually shoot through some of the grass as well. Again, just to give it a little bit of a sense of depth there. But yeah. We've got the fan as well. Just get a little bit of movement in the hair, so nothing crazy. And some of you may have noticed as well that we have this weird kind of shape on the background, and I'm kind of okay with that. I kind of did that on purpose. So what I mean by that is I did it on purpose that I wanted that background to be brighter, because this is where the scrim is casting the shadow, but then behind her is this nice bright color. So she's probably like 2 stops darker than that background, So again, personal preference. I could have just scrimmed the whole thing, but I kind of wanted to have that bright background and then her darker in front, just to have that extra separation in terms of the look, So I just have to tweak in here. So we can go, you can see, looking at that skin tone, just bringing that down even further. I mean, somewhere around here is probably more accurate in terms of skin tone, but I've just kept it at 4.5, just so it's nice and warm to give that sort of that sunny glow color on the face there. Yeah. And this is one of those things where it was super bright outside. I couldn't see my screen, so it's one of those times where speed wise, I'm not tethered. I'm not for whatever reason, experience helps you to get the shot, because this is what it looks like as the raw, right? Very, very blue. Yeah. So the face is kind of neutralized here because I'm shooting at 3000 Kelvin in camera. So the face is kind of neutralized here, and then once we've cranked up, excuse me, once you've cranked up the contrast later on, then we're able to get some of that color to come out. Okay. So let's have a look. Let's have a look. I miss here. Oh, Capture One are taking an absolute shafting for the lack of masks today, Dave. Interesting. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I could see people. I mean, do I use them? I suppose I use them. It's nice to have them. I have used them, but I don't use them too much. Yeah. Websites. What are those? I know, Vlad. Yeah, exactly. I wonder what will happen with those. Yeah. So Dave says, with the Titans, are you actually using the light for her, or just to lift in the shadow? Curious as to the power of those in daylight. Had a friend with me in Scotland shooting BTS with a drone. Some of the video was epic. So good, I ordered a drone. Amazon deals, man. I know like they've got a couple of drones on there that are a good price. Yeah. So like I think the deals were today and tomorrow. So yeah, if you think about it. But yeah, so the Titans are lighting her. Yes. Yeah. So. That's exactly what the Titans are doing. That's the orange that you see on the face is coming from that Titan. So I am using them in daylight. Now I will be honest and say that the Titan X1 is the same power as an EOS 2 when it's in the kind of normal shooting color. So like 4,500 Kelvin, 5,000 Kelvin, I think they're pretty much the same power. I haven't tested this. I need to test this, but I'm guessing the EOS 2s are going to be more powerful than the Titans in terms of LED brightness. So people say to me, "Oh, Jake, it's all very well, but you're using a $5,000 light there. I can't afford that. It's not brighter than the EOS's. It just has different tools and functions. Yeah." So let's have a look. So then we just moved on. Again, same sort of principle here. But this is what we start to see here is, which is what I was hoped was going to happen. See all these reflections and stuff are blue, right? Even the highlights and stuff on this fabric, which is very, very difficult to get color to react on, is blue, and that's purely because of the Kelvin shift that we're applying here. So if we were to, for example, white balance the jacket, right? So let's white balance that jacket. Up here, right? So we're kind of white balancing that jacket. So remember the Titan was set to 10,000 Kelvin. So here we can kind of see we're starting to get the neutralized highlights and stuff on here. But then her face was bright orange. So here, now you can see the difference here when she's actually turned away from it. So on this side, there's no Titan hitting this side of the face. So it's blue here, but then warmer there. Okay. So playing with it. So trying to get her to look back more towards the Titan. Love that shot, but that hair is not going to work. So the other thing that I was really struggling with was just this light coming in and out of the clouds. So here, like there's no clouds, so just hard sunlight, and that Titan is still doing work, right? I actually really like the shot, beautiful, and the colors here are gorgeous. You know, the teal and orange, and again you can see that separation. So had I scrimmed the entire set, it would be this dark shadow area all the way around her at the back there, but I kind of like the fact that we've just got this clipped, so we have this extra sort of brightness back there. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, just a lot of fun playing with that. I think here we see I did have, yeah, so here you go. So here you go. So here's like a wider pulled back shot. So we've got the Titan. So just one Titan and then the fan down there, and then we can see the scrim here. Now I've actually double diffused that because I actually wanted it to have more of a contrast between the shadow here and the highlight there. So what I mean by that is you can buy scrim, like diffusion material. You can buy it on Amazon. You can get like 6 meters by 3 meters for like 20 quid on Amazon. And what I've done here is I've just clipped it onto this scrim frame that I already have. So I think it's actually folded over as well. So I've actually got So it's folded over, and then you have the middle scrim that's already there. So you've actually got 3 layers of diffusion there, right? So this is why it's such a difference in density between the daylight and not. But this light here is super, super soft because it's being diffused like 3 times. So that's why the raws look just dead flat. Yeah, is purely because she's incredibly diffused there. But you can see where the Titan is falling there now. So you got the orange on this side of the face and then the blue on this side of the face. Yeah. So a huge difference in the color there as well. So I did one other thing, and I kind of asked her if she wouldn't mind me trying this as soon as we had a little bit of time. So what I did for these ones was I kind of wanted to see how much extra contrast I could get. So what I've actually done here is I've actually swapped out the Titan for a flash. Let me just see if I can find the BTS. Here you go. So I've actually switched out the Titan for a strobe. And I put a CTO gel on it there, right? So you can see that CTO gel over the light there. So what that means is that I kind of had a lot more power to work with the flash, so I was able to really crank up the flash, and as a result darken down the background, right? So if we look at this, so it's still at ISO 30, 2.8, 1,000th of a second. So we're about a stop and a half darker overall. Yeah, so if you remember, we were shooting at 400th of a second previously. So same ISO, same aperture. So now I'm shooting at thousandths of a second. So that 1,000th of a second is darkening down the background, right? So we've darkened down the background by a stop and a half. Yeah. So that sunlight is the background. That's what we're darkening down. And then I've compensated by being able to turn the flash up. So I kind of wanted to see this real strong contrast between having that really exaggerated difference between the spot and the actual background. So what's happening here as a result of that, yeah, is that you see how the shadow area here, because this shadow area is daylight, right? In the previous image, let's have a look where it's so what, like back here, right? So here, this shot is the rotor light. So we're at what? So 500th of a second. Okay, so we're a stop brighter in the daylight here. So you can see that the contrast here between the highlight and the shadow is significant. That's because her shadow side or fill side of her face is now a stop darker. So I just wanted to try it. I actually prefer the softer rotor light ones, not the flash ones. I think this contrast, although cool, could work well. It's probably just a little bit heavy. You know, it like the pool of light is super strong. We can see down here like the hands and stuff just get a little bit dark. So it's a good test. You know, it's good experiment. The other thing as well is that when you're shooting at 500th or 1,000th of a second, you're gonna need a flash that has got HSS or high speed sync, right? Which not most, but a lot of people don't have flashes that can go to high speed sync. Yeah, so something to bear in mind as well. You go, oh, that's a really cool look there. I've got a flash, right? Cool. I'll go outside and do that. You can do it, but you will have to make some sacrifices somewhere if you don't have high speed sync. Yeah. So if we had to, let's say best case scenario, your camera syncs to your flash at 250th of a second, right? That means that we'd have to go from 1,000th of a second down to 500 and then down to 250. So that's 2 stops. So you could do it, but you would have to go, right, now I need to darken down my image 2 stops somewhere else, right? So we're already at as low as we can go ISO wise. So that means we would have to darken it down from 2.8 to f4 to then 5.6. So if you've got a flash and you wanted to do this, you can do it, and you didn't have high speed sync, but you'd have to shoot at 5.6 and 250th of a second, just to give you an idea. Okay. Let's have a look. All good. Haven't missed anything. Okay, nice. All right, I will carry on. I think the stream hasn't crashed, but I'll just continue talking to myself. Let's have a look. Right, so yeah, if anyone's got any questions on that, then by all means, let me know. It is kind of fun to play with, especially when the sun comes out and you get that really dramatic shift between shadow and highlight back there. I do kind of like it. Like here, it's like really noticeable, right? Yeah, it's so again, you don't need to be extreme with that, with the scrim as well. So you don't need to have like 3 layers of diffusion there, which is probably going to take away at least a stop and a half, I would argue, of light. Yeah, so it's going to be, if you didn't want that, see, you can go, yeah, see, I've clipped this extra layer of diffusion on top here. So it's going over as well. So now you've got 3 layers there. So yeah, all good. Okay, right. I will just check that we are live. Yeah. Okay. That's good. Look, it's fine. You're all taking notes. You got your heads down. I respect it. Right, let's move on to the next one then. And this is kind of an interesting one. She sent me these images that she wanted, and she kind of liked the look of them. I don't think she realised that they were long exposure, which is fine. These was kind of like a subtle long exposure effect, so nothing super aggressive that was going to be dominating the image, because a lot of long exposure images can definitely either dominate the subject or the background. So this was definitely one of the more subtle long exposure techniques that I do, and simple-ish. But again, this is all done with Rotalights, because the Rotalights flash as well. So these are all done with the EOS 2s and the EOS 2 Pros. So they can flash as well as have ambient, and they can flash with no ambient, or they can flash with ambient at the same time, and that's kind of what I'm doing here. So let me just show you what I mean. So let's have a look. So let's see. So we got the model. Oh, let's have a line. Okay, we got our background. Okay, and we got our model facing this way. So we've got a light off to camera left here. So I'm just using an EOS 2 there. Now what that light is doing is that light is flashing, and it's on permanently as well. Okay, so essentially the modeling bulb is on, if you like. So that's flashing and the modeling bulb is on, and that's set to a very set to about 4,500 Kelvin. Okay, so that's flashing and then the movement. So what's going on there is that I'm able to take the picture. That flash is freezing her, and then I'm at half a second. So I'm just moving the camera for half a second with that ambient light. Okay, so that's that bit. So nothing too crazy there. Flash and ambient at the same time. Cool. On top of that, I also have another Rotalight here, and I've just bounced that into some V flats, and that's set, and that's just got a blue gel. It's not a blue gel, but it's an RGB light, so it's set to blue, and that is set to flash only, so no ambient. Okay, so this blue color that you see here, this is actually a silver top, like a silvery white top. So these blues that you see here are coming from this. Okay, that fill-in flash, and it's probably a stop darker than this. Okay, so it's just simple 2 lights. One is flashing with ambient on, one is flashing without ambient on. Okay, and the ambient on one is this one here, and the reason I've used that one to this side is to try and limit the amount of areas that are going to be caught by the blurring. So ideally, I got her to add some shine and stuff to the chest area and that sort of thing. That's what's giving us these highlights, that we can then use those highlights for the long exposure. Okay. So that's what's going on there. And we zoom out a little bit, you should be able to see more of the, so you see the blue and stuff really kicking in here. You can see the blue being bounced back in the eyes, which is kind of interesting, and the blue on the highlights of the hair. So this is all coming from that bounced rotolite. Okay. So and then again, it's just down to you with the camera movement to get these effects. Yeah. So I kind of like it because it's just a little, it's just subtle, right? It's not in your face. It's, you know, it's not over the top, but just a little bit of movement. This is a bit too, I kind of prefer the head and shoulder shots, but a bit too zoomed out. So again, nothing crazy, but just a little bit of movement here. And again, just a little bit of movement, just to give it a little bit of interest without it overpowering the image. Again, here, kind of cool. Even switch to some landscape shots here, I think. So again, you're using the model's skin and highlight on the skin to actually create the long exposure effect. So this, you kind of wouldn't see it too much if she was, you wouldn't see it at all. For example, if she was wearing like an all black top and her skin wasn't shiny and that sort of thing, so you wouldn't see anything at all. Okay, so just having these elements here, these lighter elements, are really going to pick up the long exposure. But again, it's about just being a little bit subtle with it. It doesn't need to be, you know, crazy over the top. And again, only about half a second. So again, just kind of subtle. And if you wanted to here, one thing that you could do if you wanted to go, right, I want more of the long exposure effect or less long exposure effect, then you just change the shutter speed, right? So if we wanted to change that from half a second to maybe 3/4 or even a second, you know, you're going to have more time, the shutter's open to actually get the effect. If you wanted to do that, I would probably urge you to turn down the ambient brightness of that light over on the left here. But otherwise, you know, even if you do that, you're going to have a lot more blurring effect, and you can, you know, reduce it even more. Just take it down to you know, 1/4 of a second, something like that. One thing I want to try at some point that I haven't done is to get like a super long lens, like 300mm lens or something like that, and then do something like this and shoot it at like a 1/30th of a second. I just want to get, you know, just really like a compressed kind of headshot, and I'm not doing anything with the camera. I'm trying to hold it steady, but just with a long lens, you're going to get that little bit of, you know, almost that visual vibration that you sometimes see. I know it's a fault and it's supposed to be an impurity that doesn't look good, but I would be, because it would be flashing at the same time, you would still have the crisp image on top of it, and it would just have this sort of like visual echo that would help as well. It'd be interesting to try. So here I'm on 105mm. Yeah. So again, simple technique to do, but yeah, fun. Create some interesting looks. Yeah. Oh, sorry, Vlad. Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, my bad. Yeah. Thank you, Vlad. I did. Yeah, I will try to. Yeah, because what's under there? I think it's just the. I think I did check earlier on. Oh, it is. Oh, yes, it's everything above that. Okay, so it's just the. So it's just the histogram and that sort of thing. But yeah, the text is so small up there. But yeah, the only thing that's under the histogram that you guys might be missing is just the ISO. So it's ISO 50, 105mm, f2.8, and that's half a second. Yeah, that's the only thing that's hidden there, really. Yeah. But yeah, thanks for that. I had forgot that. Yeah. Hey Darius, how you doing? What are you using to shine the skin? There's a whole bunch of ways that you can shine the skin. You can use, it depends how far you wanted to go with it, like how shiny did you want it. So if you're doing a lot of like fitness shoots, like in the gym, for example, you can afford to go like super multiple layers of shine. So let me just I don't know why I'm doing this. It doesn't work. It's in the search. Glad I'll probably find it from. But yeah, there's an article on my website that has like 5 techniques of how to create shiny skin. and like one of them is baby oil. That's the easiest one, right? Baby oil. The other one is gonna be baby oil, and then on top of that you have like the spray, which is like a glycerin water mix, and that can give you some really like that. If you're doing like gym work, then here you go. If you're doing a lot of gym shots, then that can be great. So there you go. Just gives you some of the examples that I use. Glycerin, shower mist, which is actually really good. This olive oil spray as well. Okay, and then it just talks about how to make that glycerin mix. I don't need that either. So yeah. Now she had a makeup product from like Tom Ford or something like that, which was incredible, but obviously very expensive. So if you don't want to be going out and spending money on products from Tom Ford, then you know these are some of the workarounds, right? Okay, and then let's have a look here. Let's do one more of these setups. Talk about this last setup here, which was kind of cool. Nothing crazy. So I'll just show you the shots first, so you can see what we're talking about. So yeah, simple enough. This is 3 lights. Yeah, this is 3 lights. So we've got our hand painted backdrop. It's a little bit further away from her, so we have a little bit of drop off in just with the aperture and this sort of thing. So we're able to get a little bit of separation there. And then above that backdrop, I have a EOS 2 peeking over, and that's set to like 4,500 Kelvin. So similar sort of color temperature to what I'm shooting here. So 4,500 Kelvin here. If you can't see, because like Vlad says, it's hidden, but yeah, so it's 4.5. Oh no, it is there, yeah. So it's 4,500 Kelvin. I'm shooting the light back there is 4.5, so that's our white light. And then I have another EOS just in front of her here. Okay, so that's what's lighting her face, and then I'm just bouncing another EOS with my teal color preset, Master of Light preset, that comes on all the pro lights, and then I'm just bouncing that into my DIY V flats that I've made. Okay, so super simple. Here you go. I took some shots for you guys. So here we got the painted backdrop. We've got the EOS poking over the top here. So this is really useful if you're working in somebody's home, and you don't have like a boom arm and stuff with you. This is kind of a great way to get that light, hair light behind, and that way you just put it up behind the actual backdrop and then just peek it over the top. So, and that's doing something else which I'll talk about in a second. But yeah, so that's just simple like that. Then we have another EOS in here. Now this is on a C stand here. You don't need to use a C stand. You can use one of these things, which is a Manfrotto bracket. I really need to get a Stream Deck for that. And then that you guys have seen me use a ton on location, where you just pop that on the stand and then you put it off to one side. Now, sorry, the dog's under my chair. The reason I didn't do it here is because I said to Rotolite that I would share these images, put together an article and that sort of thing, so that they can have it on the website. Now, when I did this before with that right angle bracket, people were putting their very expensive lights on these brackets and then not counterbalancing them properly and falling over and that sort of thing. So I've literally just done it here to so that I don't teach people bad habits, essentially. But yeah, you can use that. You can certainly use that and be fine with it if you're sensible, right? You don't need a C-stand. But the benefit of doing this is that light is above the model's head, and it's not, the light stand would normally be in the way, right? So in this instance, you know, I can get it out of the way and just have it directly above the model's head, and then I'm just bouncing this this sort of bluish color that is in my preset pack on the lights into this V flat, and that's what's creating that fill light. Yeah. So let's have a look. So I kept these test shots in here where it's just the hair light being fired, right? So you can see what that's doing. So it's only really lighting the hair and the tops of the shoulders there. And then you can see what the fill light is doing. Okay, and then this one, I turn on the key light and it's too bright, and I just, you know, start turning it down until we get there. Okay, so super simple, right? Just really simple but very effective. And again, you know, think about what they're going to be wearing, right? So you've got this white outfit, which is perfect for this. It's going to pick up all that nice, rich, beautiful color. And you know, if she's wearing black here, we're just not going to see it. Even if she's wearing something shiny, we're not really going to see it that much. So having this nice soft cotton material is just going to pick up all that color beautifully, right? And so there's one other element here that I wanted to, I don't know whether I've got an example of it. Okay, so there's one other element I want to talk about here. So what I've got here are two images. One of these is taken with the low contrast filter over the lens. Okay, so look at the shadows and stuff here, and then this is without the low contrast filter in front of the lens. Okay, now the reason this works is because of that light. That light behind her, lighting her hair and shoulders, is not just there as the hair light. It's actually there to create this little bit of flare into the lens that I quite like. So that's without the low contrast filter, and that's with it. Now this low contrast filter only works when light is coming back into the lens. So having that light just out of shot there, right, gives you that kind of flared effect, which is kind of cool. Later on I did some headshots. We can see the effect here as well. Like, just, I love this, beautiful, real soft, and again, because of that low contrast filter with that light behind her, just catching her hair, absolutely, you know, beautiful headshot. And again, low contrast filter doing work. So kind of without, so I'm just kind of like, if I'm down low enough, I'm getting that flare in, and if I come up a little bit higher, I get less of it. So I was kind of managing that flare by me coming lower and higher. So yeah. But yeah, pretty simple setup, but super effective, and you know, love these shots. Yeah, beautiful shots. Add some grain to that Vlad, and job done. Oh, let's have a look. Always remember past the model, the oil bottle. Yeah, exactly, Dave. Yeah, don't, for Christ's sake, don't do it yourself. Bloody hell. Yeah, always give the model the oil to put on herself. Yeah. What are these Master of Light presets, Jake? Yeah, these are the color these are the presets that come with the new Rotor Light. So as a Master of Light for Rotor Light, if that wasn't clear enough, sorry if there's any new people here. I'm a Master of Light for Rotor Light, which means that they've deemed me good enough at lighting that I'm able to use their lights and share some of my thoughts on them. And as well as that, on those lights, there are a Master of Light preset pack which has like 10 of my top colors that I would use, which I do use them. It's not just for show. I do use those colors in that preset pack, so they're just in all those new lights. Dave, always align the extension arm with the big leg on the C-stand. It's very professional of you. I cannot guarantee that happened, but let's just say it did. Yeah. Good advice though, Dave. Good advice. Yeah. Or just use one of those. Okay, so yeah, nothing crazy. I just wanted to go through those and talk about some of the setups that I'm doing, and just looking in Lightroom. Like I said, I haven't gone through and edited those yet, as in culled them down. I've just gone through just real quick, played around, and I was actually thinking on Sunday as I was doing the shoot, was like, I must get some BTS. I'll have a chat about this on the stream on Tuesday. So that's kind of what I wanted to do. Just wanted to have a chat with you guys, share what I was working on there, and the kind of thought process to what I was doing, and just share, how they were shot, really. Yeah. But I will try and put together some articles and that sort of thing as well, with lighting diagrams, so that you can see exactly what's going on. But if you have any questions about any of that now whilst I'm here live, then by all means let me know, and I can go over that. Yeah. Okay then. So like we've said in the past, we're going to go through your images, the share shoot images. So that's the images that you guys have posted, and what we'll do is we'll go through those sort of one by one, pull out any areas that I think we could work on, and that sort of thing. Maybe pull a few of these into Photoshop, play around with some colors and that sort of thing as well. So we can do that. I do this every couple of weeks, so just look for the share a shoot post, and even if it's not a live stream, I will still give feedback. It'll just be in text format normally. So yeah. Do you know before the shoot if you're going with gel or rotolights, or the decision getting harder? So is your question like, how often am I using the flash? Is that right? Like, how often am I using the gelled flashes? The biggest, is two. Is one main factor, right? The main factor is the modifier that I'm going to use. If I need to use something like a spotlight, or or a very fine grid or something, then I have to use like an S-fit. Hey Miriam, how you doing? Good to see you. Yeah, if I'm going to be doing very controlled spot, pool of light, I need something just a very controlled spot on a background, just a section of color here on a face or something like that. Then I'm going to need something that's going to be more of either a strobe or an S-fit LED, which is what I've also got as well. So I use the Godox LED, which is an S-fit one, and then I can put a snoot or whatever on there and really control it. The one thing that is really useful, and we'll kind of touch on this in a second here with Vlad's image when we get there, but one thing that is just so useful for me with the RGB is being able to fine tune the colors. I love my gels, they're awesome, but having like 16 million colors in the Rotolight RGB spectrum enables me to really fine tune certain blues, certain oranges, certain yellows, right? Which is not really possible with the gels. So that's kind of the reason. Yeah, I'm always going to use the Rotolight where possible, just because it makes life so much easier. Yeah. So before we dig into these, who is on Thread here? Who signed up to Thread this week? The reason I say that is because I was on the toilet before I fired up the stream, and I thought, well, I'll sign up to this Threads thing, and obviously I haven't turned off notifications, so my phone is just going crazy. I need to turn those off. But yeah, because I just signed up to Threads. Who is on there? Why are we on there? Asking for a friend, but why are we on there? What are we doing on Threads? Is there something that we should be using it for? Is that something I'm missing? I saw you were on there, David. Yeah, I saw you were on there. Yeah, I did see you. I think I followed you. Miriam's on there, straight on there. That was my follow-up bit, Vlad, was the fact that, yeah, to my EU friends, I don't think you can get on there. And this is how flippantly I was with it. I just saw that I was not available in EU. My ancient brain was like, oh well, it's not available in the UK then, because we're in the EU. Jake, we haven't been in the EU for years. So we're in the UK, we have it. But yeah, in the EU, yeah, they for some reason don't have it. Lucky buggers, I say. Paul says, yeah, not another platform. Paul, I am with you. I've planted my flag, but I've been caught out in the past by not planting my flag, and it's kind of bit me in the arse, and people have used my name nefariously. So I was like, right, I'll just go put my flag in the sand. But I don't use Twitter. I know people. It feels like it's a new Twitter to me with like the text and that sort of thing. It's still the same girls / young ladies clickbaiting with pointless 5 words of useless content. So maybe I need to refine my followers on Thread, refine who I follow on Threads compared to Instagram. But anyway, yeah, it is another platform, right? It's just like, what am I going to be posting on there? I post my long form stuff here on Facebook, and I just post my images just to, on Instagram and forget. But so Threads is not something that I've been crying out for. Everybody's like, oh my god, it's amazing, it's the greatest thing that's ever happened. Oh, it just feels like spending, an afternoon on the beach with my friends. It's like, what are you talking about? Bloody internet, man. Jesus Christ. So Alex is, I'm not sure why yet, but I'm on there. I'm with you, Alex. I'm with you. Yeah. It's like Twitter, but the cool people from Instagram, right? So I presume this is what Twitter was like before it just became an absolute cesspool of just angry assholes. So I guess we should make the most of Threads whilst we can, right? Another time suck, yeah. So what are you guys putting on there? Are you just putting like the same? Because all I wanted to do was like, cool, okay, I'll just post this to Instagram and Threads. It's like, no, Jake, you can't post the same thing on there. It's like, right. Like Dave says, yeah, just another time suck, right? Don't see the point. It's got the same restrictions as Insta, Facebook. Seriously consider Twitter for my... And when you say restrictions, you're talking about nudity and that sort of thing, right? My portfolio stuff as the takedowns are getting ridiculous on Insta. Yeah, I mean, look, I understand the argument. I do, like, free the nipple and all that sort of thing. I get it. I do get it. Like, we're all adults. That's fine. I'm personally okay with it. I mean, can you, like... there are plenty of places online where you can see nipples if you want to. I'm okay with Instagram or Facebook, being like that. I kind of have an issue where you can cut somebody's head off on Facebook and like that's okay, but you can't see a nipple. I just find like we're in this weird, because that's under news and education. I just find we're in this weird kind of space with it right now. So yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's bizarre. If you're on Android, you can sideload it. Really, that's hilarious. Yeah. Threads can't pretend to care enough anymore. Yeah, I know it does. Yeah. It looks like I've managed to gather all the... I'm trying to think of a polite way. Just grumpy people all in one place here in this community, and I'm very glad to have you. Yeah. The app is interesting, but just one more place where people won't interact with my work. Also, it's not like Twitter. It's like a fifth of Twitter so far. When you say a fifth, what do you mean? Like how much you can talk or write? Is it really just limited numbers or? Yeah, I'll follow you there on Miriam. Yeah. What's your name on there? Is it the same thing? I like Threads because it's nice for artists to share work in progress and chat with people. Cool, Miriam. Okay, great. And let's hope this stays like that. And I did see a couple people saying that. It's like super chill. And I kind of thought that it was like a new Instagram for a new generation, right? Because, for example, if you wanted to see success on YouTube today, what would you have to do to see success on YouTube today, right? Those people that started out on YouTube, 10 years ago, they're just set for life, right? It'd be very difficult to break into a new social media platform now. I mean, I was late to the party on Facebook, and my Facebook page, suffered because of it. Really, struggled to get whatever it was, 25,000 people on there. But yeah, so I did see it as kind of like, do you know what? That's kind of cool. Like young people, new platform, everybody can do like race to get attention. It's not bogged down by everything else. And then I just saw that whenever you log into Instagram, it just brings all your followers. Whenever you log into Threads, it just brings all your followers over straight away anyway. Correct me if I'm wrong. So I'm like, well, I guess it is quieter, right? But if it's just bringing everybody over anyway, then going to be difficult to shine through. But I could see how younger new people could find their platform, right, as opposed to being drowned out with older people on other older platforms. Not signed up, yeah. Too much. We can harvest your data, and if you sign up, you can't delete. I saw that, Ian. Yeah, so I saw that. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know why you would delete threads. I guess I guess it could turn into something weird that you wanted to delete. But I certainly take your point. I did see that you can't delete your Threads account without deleting your Instagram account, which is real weird. Yeah. So Dave says it's not nipples, it's bums now. What do you mean? What do you mean? Or butts? Sorry, for the Americans. What do you mean? Like you can't see? I get 3/4 shots. Like really? How are they so? Right. Okay. So Dave says nudity I can understand. I don't post nudes. It's pole performers and dancers. In revealing, oh, so it's even that, but everything exciting is covered, so to speak, and taken down as. Oh, I see. So it's even the suggestion of it now. Okay, gotcha. All right, Miriam. Yeah, I'll have a look. Let's have a look. Let's see. I don't post stuff about going to the beach. So, what are you? It's Cat Black _ I spelt it wrong, alright? I'm getting there. Cat Black Art, so there you go. _art, here we go. That's right, isn't it? Because this doesn't look like, okay. Right, there you go. I have a love-hate relationship with art, don't we all? Yeah, don't we all? That's why it's art, though, isn't it? I got a shadow ban for maternity image we had. Really, Dave? Maternity? Wow, okay. I feel they geared it at, they only need to have a new platform every X years, so they're remaking them, because in the end, let's face it, they're all the same post stuff. Yeah, I mean, look, I agree. I think that there has to be kind of a new platform for new people to come on. Like, yeah, I don't know how younger people coming out of wherever, art college, something like that, is just going to break into Instagram now. Like, what? It's just, can you imagine? Like, it's just no way. Yeah, it's just no way. So I don't know what the ideal refresh rate on a new app would be, but yeah. First day on Threads was great, just people talking about photography of all genres, really, and then the company's share page. Yeah, interesting, Alex. Yeah, gotcha. Yeah. And my comment was just hidden, so it only confirms what's said. What, hidden on here or on Threads, Thomas? I didn't see it get hidden on here. It only gets hidden if you use the B word. No worries, Miriam. Yeah, it's amazing bikini and lingerie companies can get away with it. Oh, they need them. This is it, right? Yeah. So, and I didn't realize this either, Dave. Yeah, this is same on TikTok as well, right? So you can. It's not. It's one rule for literally one rule for one, and then another rule, and then another rule for somebody else. Thomas, was the comment hidden on Facebook or on Threads? Sorry, because I didn't see any comment come up here that gets hidden, because I should see everything as the admin. Yeah, I don't get that. One rule for one and a different rule for somebody else. So the lingerie company that's selling a product is able to show lingerie, but somebody photographing lingerie is not able to show it. Yeah, I completely agree with you there. Yeah, I completely agree with you. Yeah. Who's on Threads and post portraits? Drop your username here and Board of Landscape Photography. Yeah, do it. Yeah, if you're on Threads, share your handles on here. The enforcement is arbitrary, and that's what makes it so frustrating. Yeah, exactly. Because you don't know. Because exactly, if you knew what to avoid, then you would avoid it. Yeah, I totally 100% agree. Especially when they move the goalposts without telling you. Yeah. I've had 3 comments hidden this evening. You've had 3 comments. Can you give an example of what you were talking about, Paul? Just, I mean, this is serious. I'm not trying to get anybody in trouble here. I'm genuinely curious as to what Threads is kind of geared towards and what they're trying to do. Are they? Because I'm trying to work out the business model of Meta, Facebook, Instagram, and then Meta have obviously gone, look, why are we going to bring out Threads unless it's going to make us money? So do you think that they're struggling to get advertisers onto Facebook and Instagram? Then they go and look, Threads is just going to be this totally new platform that's going to have no negativity, no swear words, no bottoms, and it's just going to be this pure place that advertisers can use without any concerns. Like, is that, I'm open to ideas here. Why would Meta bring out a third platform that's just gonna diversify their audience or dilute their audience and essentially dilute the amount of traction that some of their ads would get on Instagram, right? Because you're going to get less people seeing ads on Instagram because they might be on Threads. So now the company has to buy 3 sets of ads. Is that their grand idea? It's like, well, if you want to hit all these people, then you've got to advertise on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads. So do they make more money that way? Genuinely curious, yeah. One nice thing about Threads is the images are full screen. 9 by... Oh, really, Dave? I didn't know that. Okay, because they're normal, and then you click on them and they can open up. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Yeah. Another crop. Yeah, exactly, yeah. But I can share said lingerie's company photos without worry. If I stage the same shot in the same lingerie, it's a warning. Interesting. Yeah, it's true. I was talking about the software I use for editing. I'm not sure what work or program I mentioned. It didn't like it. Well, in here, in the comments section here, or on Threads. What the hell? How is it? It cannot be censoring people on the stream live without me seeing it. That's nuts. Yeah. I have a separate page for portraits. I usually post street photography on the main page, so I can't have a... what? No way. I don't like... What? It's censoring things on here without me seeing them? Guys, there is nothing coming up here that I'm seeing that is hidden. Like so what you're seeing on screen is the direct feed, right? And if something... somebody type the word black and white for me. See what happens. You felt really... I know, Dave, right? I know, right? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I see Miriam got around it. So, I mean, if I type it, though, it's blocked, right? I wonder if it's hiding it. Okay, yeah, so it is. Okay, so I'm allowed to post it, but so when Miriam says it, it gets grayed out like that. So it is graying them out here, but like for some of the things that you guys are saying, it's actually just not even showing it? What the hell? That's interesting. I'll have to look into that. How are you getting away with it? How's Ian got privileges? That's hilarious. That is crazy, Vlad. I did not know that. Yeah, it must hide it server side. Because when you guys, sorry guys, when you said, oh, they were getting, they were getting hidden and stuff, I was like, oh, they must be hidden like for Threads. That's what you guys are talking about. I'm sorry, I had no idea. Yeah, look, I only have black and white band as a meme, right? Like I don't have anything else flagged at all. There's no, you can swear as much as you want. There's nothing else. There is no, this is geared for, adults. There's nothing in here that should be flagged. That's crazy. That's nuts. Because as far as I was aware, it used to be that I'm seeing the I should see everything here because I've got this is literally coming from the stream chat box. Yeah. So, and even the banned words aren't working now. So it's just Miriam that's banned. Wow. Okay, that's gotcha. Anyway, we're getting off topic. I will look into that though. But that's interesting. That is new. Yeah. That is. I'm glad you guys told me. Yeah. I wonder if there's a workaround for that. If there's something in the settings that is off by default that I'm not aware of. Yeah. I appreciate you guys telling me that. I will look at it because maybe there's something in the settings, right? I wouldn't even know what it is. Oh, it's here, like, so blocked keywords, right? profanity. You can choose. Guys, can you imagine, like, if strong was on? Like, what the hell would, like, I've got. Weird. I like the way the banned keywords don't even work. There's some offensive words. I wonder what they would be. Like, yeah, I wonder if my I had been wondering if my page has been shadow banned in somewhere, some shape or form, but because my reach has been down like 30% of what it normally is, right? So it's not uncommon to get 300 likes on an image. Now maybe I'm just getting worse, which is fine. I accept that in terms of I'm taking worse pictures, which is fine. But you know, it used to be like 300 likes, and it just went like that down to like 70 likes within the space of a few days. And I didn't look into it. It is what it is. But really, Thomas, no way. That's what you said. That's crazy. Interesting. Huh. Like in Romania, common FB problem is that in our language, how is written. Nice. Yeah, that would be an issue, Vlad. Yeah, for sure. Wow, that is, and like you say, Thomas, for that to be server side, for it not even for me to see it, literally at the host admin end on my page is nuts. Yeah, that's crazy. Wow, man. Anyway, I'll just get wound up. Let's have a look at some images. Yeah, right. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, I know. Thomas is, whew, mate. Oh, Vlad, you've made it most relevant. You've made it, mate. Let's have a look at some of your shots then. Let's have a look. So Vlad says, it all started with a shot I saw online like 2 weeks ago, but I think the guy was using an optical snoot, and the fact that my model has a beard didn't work in my favour. So I tried this again one day. Light setup below. Tell me how far I was from the original. What Vlad's talking about here is an image we were talking about last week stream. I grabbed it for this very reason. I saw Vlad was talking about it. So this is the image that Vlad was talking about, okay? And then this is what Vlad was doing, and then this is the setup that he's got here. So we started with number 1 to wash out the scene, so he's using soft blue light, and 2 is a simple snoot, so he's got the red light here. Or also experimented with the Fresnel, but was getting a huge hotspot. I felt the overall light was too flat, so I added number 3. So again, he's got another soft light here. I think it has a bit more light on the side. I'm bouncing the blue light off the wall because what I hope to get from them is a wash, but I think that might be wrong. My guess is that you had just a big octa for fill and red optical snoot in the original. Yes. So what did you say? You said, I can't remember how I'd shot it, but that does sound right. My guess is that you had a big octa for the fill. Correct. For the blue, correct. Yeah. And then the red is an optical snoot. There's more going on there, because it's the spotlight, so it's more of an even, less vignetted light, which is kind of how I'm able to get that look. But what Vlad is kind of referencing here is the fact that this is a yellow coat, that when we layer the blue light on top, it goes green, right? Because we're kind of mixing these colors. So that this is a yellow jacket. The red sits on top, which is fine, but the blue actually affects the yellow jacket in such a way that it turns this yellow jacket green. Now, the reason I actually jumped into Satellite just before we went live to grab a couple of examples for you, Vlad, just to show you what's going on here. So when we're dealing with Make sure you guys can see that. Yeah, when we're dealing with color, you guys can see it. Yeah, you can. Yeah, okay. So we're dealing with color. There's a couple of things we need to bear in mind. We need to bear in mind like the size of the modifier itself in terms of the actual size of the light. So this is taking into account the hotspot, the spread of light, and if we have a very even spread of light, like I'm getting with the new Godox spotlight, which is amazing, then it kind of opens up a few more opportunities for us. So we need to bear in mind that the color of the light, the hardness of the light, the size of the light in relation to the reflection, and also both colors, so the color of the light that you're firing and the color of the object that it's landing on. So here we have a black ball. So this is a black shiny ball, okay? So very, very shiny. So this is what that ball looks like with a blue hard light on a shiny ball, okay? So it's really important to remember how much of an impact the texture that you're firing the light into will have an impact. So nothing has changed in these two images. Okay, this is exactly the same power, exactly the same color. All I've done is I've reduced the glossiness of the ball here. Okay, so that's a glossy ball. It's a shiny surface, and this is a non-shiny surface. So, the actual texture that you're shining the light onto plays a huge part in how the light actually looks. So thinking about if you're using large umbrellas, right? We spoke at the start. I forget who said they were. Is you're selling a bloody umbrella, Vlad? Yeah, don't sell it. If you have this huge modifier with this light, you can bring it in very close to the subject. That gives you a larger surface area to cast some of these reflections, right? So this is only a small reflection here because it's the same power and we're illuminating the object, but it's a small point of light. So we're just seeing the specular highlight there. Okay, so there's a couple of things as well we need to bear in mind. So again, this is just a white light and on a black ball, so same thing, right? White light, exactly the same exposure, exactly the same lighting, everything's exactly the same. One is a shiny ball and one isn't. And this last little thing I want to briefly talk about is how much of an impact fine-tuning the colors can have on both of these objects. Okay, so we have a yellow ball here, right? And we have a blue gel shining onto this, and that yellow ball is matte, right? So it's not shiny. Okay. We have a yellow ball and another blue light, okay? Different color, right? So that's changing, that's changing. So the yellow's the same, we're just changing the blue here, and then we can go again. That's another blue gel and another yellow ball, okay? But can you see how much of an impact the type of blue you have on top of the type of yellow you can have, right? That is technically mixing blue and yellow, but we get very different results. Okay, so this is how the RG additive color wheel can really get confusing for people. And when I explained it to you guys last week, I'm just giving you guys the cheap seats explanation. The detailed color theory is paywalled behind the workshop. I'm only teasing slightly. But yeah, so I was just kind of giving you a broad overview, but this leads into my reasoning as to why I'm loving the RGB spectrum so much. When I was saying to you that having the ability to really fine tune the RGB colors enables me to fine tune these colors to get this type of thing to happen, right? So it's not just a case of just mix yellow and blue and we're always going to get green. It's not the case, as I've just shown you. So this is a real a big pot of problems to deal with. It's worth exploring if you're into it, for sure. But yeah, just to give you a rough idea, you're not doing anything wrong. It's just we got to be careful with the type of colors that we're using and mixing. Yeah. Hopefully that makes sense. Let's have a look. Normally get a notification for the stream, but I didn't get one last time. I joined late though. Yeah, I know, Ian. Yeah, it's happening. I'm telling you, like, people aren't getting notified. And I'm trying to work out whether they want me to like buy the blue tick. I mean, I guess I will, but I don't even know how to, like, you know, so that people obviously see your images more often. I guess, like, what is it, a tenner a month or something like that? I mean, yeah. You don't have enough beard oil, Vlad. That's what it is. Yeah. If I matte out my hair, it will catch more color onto the and be less black. There is that that'll do it. Yeah, yeah. Hence the huge issue with the green tint in the Pro range of Godox AD lights. Really? Is it? Hey Wayne, how you doing? Hence the huge issue with the green tint in the Pro range of Godox AD lights. I wasn't aware of that. Interesting. Yeah, yeah. Where did I see green lights the other day? I was cautious with. Yeah. Hopefully that makes some sense though, Vlad. Yeah. Daz has got an image here. Black. How did you get through? Eh? I got restrictions in place for a reason, Daz, and you just posted black and white shots. Hannah and sister, as the waves came to me, I just held my camera high and jumped up with the wave. This is all Lightroom, and the sun was so bright that I remember having to crank up the shadows. Yeah, I bet. Yeah. Imagine what this would look like in color, though. You know, just imagine. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. Do you have the option to buy the blue check marker in the UK? Oh, I don't know that. Is that not a thing? I didn't realize that. May Christ. Yeah, no worries, Vlad. Yeah, no worries. Okay. I just assumed everybody could. I didn't realize it was a slow rollout. Okay. So Paul's up next here. I had a great shoot this weekend with a model I've worked with a lot. She brought this great set and I wanted to try out another object's light setups from the website. This is a softboxed camera left, shot through a scrim. Nice. Love a bit of double diffusion. And light behind for rim light, and the Beauty Dish camera right for some fill. Also shot with a diffusion filter to give it low contrast effect. Nice. Okay, nice. Yeah. So we got a lot of color in here. I'm not. It's not jumping out to me as to the setup that you're going for. I think it's cool. Yeah, I think it's cool, for sure. I think the exposures that you've got here is really nice. I think I maybe would have had just a little bit more white light on the face, just to see, just to pick out her face against the blue. Is that what we're doing here? Are we just using different? We've got purple on top and blue below. Not sure on the variances there. I think it's beautifully finished. And again, like your retouching and post pro is bang on. Yeah, skin's looking amazing. Yeah, really cool. Yeah, let me close Lightroom. Do you really want to quit? Don't show again? I don't want to risk it. I like to be babied. Right, let's close that down. Let's get in the spinning beach ball of death. Hopefully the stream hasn't crashed. Hello? Oh, balls. Has it crashed? Probably not. No? Still there? Okay. I don't know what that's doing then. That's doing its thing. I'll let it do its thing. So Paul said... so Dave said Godox 8200 Pro had a big hint of green from new, not sure. Okay. Greater or lesser since the other Pro lights. Gotcha. Yeah, that's... I mean, because that used to be the nature with old LEDs for sure. It shouldn't happen in flash though. That's nuts. Yeah, thank you, Dave. Yeah, still here. Yeah. As with all the meta things in it, it's a slow rollout, and Romania is not a country anyway. So we ain't getting in them until we're desperate for money. Interesting. Yeah, okay. Paul says purple lingerie, light pastel purple gel, all the rest white light, but I've messed with the colours. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I think it's cool. Yeah, I think it's cool. I just maybe would have added just a little bit more. Maybe added this Beauty Dish to camera right. Maybe just had more of that with white light on the face, just to maybe kind of burn away some of that color. But again, really cool shot though. Yeah, really cool shot. And again, yeah, your retouching is absolutely excellent. Yeah, really, really good. So Darius here recently had some fun with Gobo, 3 LED bars, 2 counters and 1 fill, plus LED roll softbox with grid and Gobo. Love the glow effect in eyes, LED bar reflection. Okay. Oh, you did something like that, Paul. Okay, so it's fair enough. Okay, yeah. So you're just doing a mix, but you like that one. That's fair enough. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's good that you did them just so you can see what you preferred. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. So Darius says he's got 3 LED bars. These are the tubes I presume he's referring to, right? 2 counters and 1 fill, plus LED roll softbox with grid and Gobo. Not sure. Some of the counters, rolls. Regardless though, Darius, beautiful image. Really cool to see that the effect working well here. Like it a lot. I think it's good. I think it's good. Color's beautiful as well. Like we got these nice orange hues with this kind of blue color as well. We have this nice purple in here where they're kind of mixing. So I think the colors are really, really nice. And you mentioned love the glow effect in the eyes, which I presume it's this here, this kind of like low, this bar here as well. I think it's really cool. Yeah. Just watch the exposure on the Gobo, just because you've got the optical snoot that has a very aggressive hotspot. We spoke about in previous streams, so just watch out for this being very bright here in the center. Okay, so maybe just dial that down a little bit so we're not bleaching out the skin. But yeah, love the colors. Really cool with the geometrics, with the the triangle here of the V, and then the kind of like the diamonds on the Gobo. It all works really, really well. And again, the colors are beautiful together as well. Yeah, excellent job. We got John's one here. So this was taken with 2 speed lights, one with a light blaster projecting the pattern. Oh, the light blaster, nice. And the second with a yellow gel, Portra 160 in a Canon 300, 85mm. You're not shooting on film, are you? Is this film? You shoot film with fair play, man. Or are you just using a preset, or is that actually Portra 160 in a Canon 300? Any Canon shooters in chat? Is Canon 300 a film camera? It's really cool though. I mean, if that's because it does look like that noise is actually film. Yeah. Oh, nice, John. Fair play. Because film is difficult to do at the best of times, but you're using difficult lighting, and you're using the light blaster is not perfect in terms of what it's able to achieve. So yeah, you've done a really good job to get this done on film, man. Yeah, really cool. Yeah, really good. The only thing I would kind of be, if you were bothered like that, is maybe just to take it into Photoshop and just kind of darken down these highlights on the face just a tiny bit, just because look, get a little bit hot here on the forehead. But I'm nitpicking, right? I think this is excellent. I think this is really good. Yeah, I think it's really good. Oh, that's still playing. So the only other thing is, I think you get away with it here, but just watch the height of some of these optical snoots, casting light and that sort of thing. So I think you've done a great job in kind of lining it up as close as possible, but just make sure that it's just above eye level if you can. Ideally, when I'm doing it, I want to see this shadow kind of below the subject rather than just across, because sometimes we can get some weird shadows. Again, I think you've got away with it here. We've hardly got no shadow at all. I think you've done a great job. Just be careful of having that light blaster just eye level. Just have it just a touch higher, just so that we're casting those shadows down the subject. Yeah, but really cool. Yeah, and again, as somebody who shoots film and has shot film, huge respect from me from getting this right in camera, on film. Not as forgiving when it comes to correcting mistakes in post, right? So yeah, great job, man. Yeah, really cool. I can get rid of the double shadow. So which double shadow are you referring to? You're referring to what here? Is this what you mean? So we've got a dark shadow and then a yellow shadow. The only way to do that is to line them up. So you've got the, think of 2 speed lights, one with light blasting projecting the pattern, and the second with a yellow gel. So what modifier do you have on the yellow gel? Yeah, gotcha. Okay, yeah. So what modifier do you have on the yellow gel? Okay, so we got our background, we got our model, and then okay. So the light blaster is going to be this little speed light thing, right? And then usually you would have either an umbrella or a softbox here. Now, if you don't have that, maybe you're just using the speed light on its own. That's what's casting the shadow, right? So you don't want you don't want the yellow light to have a hard modifier. So you'd either put the softbox like here, right? So you'd put the softbox directly behind this. That way the shadows should stack, like should stack on top of one another. And if you're using a softbox, you shouldn't see a second shadow at all. So make sure that the 2 lights are lined up. The yellow has a softbox. Bare bulb, yeah, okay. So if it's bare bulb, that's why it's casting a shadow. So just use the yellow on a softbox. That will get rid of that double shadow, and then make sure that they're lined up one behind the other, and that will mean that they're casting like the same shadow, and the softbox should eliminate it anyway. Okay. Hey, no worries, John. Yeah, all good, man. Yeah, all good. Yeah, good luck. Dave's got an image in here. Finally have something recent to share. 3 lights, 1 light, camera left with the optical spot and gobo. Nice. Yeah, it works really well. Yep, another light, camera left, bounced off the ceiling as key. Nice. 3rd light in the back room, bounced off the ceiling to the light wall behind. Okay, so we've got 1 light over here on the left. We can see it casting door frame shadow here. We've got a light in this room that we're in, which is filling in some of these shadows beautifully. And then, correct me if I'm wrong, Dave, if you're still in here, I'm not sure whether you are or not, but you've got a light back here. And is the wall this kind of yellowy color, like browny yellowy color, beigey color, or have you colored that? Yeah. Let's take this into Photoshop a minute. Let's have a play with the color grade. Oh, I haven't got Photoshop open. Great. This will definitely crash the stream. Yeah, Dave, if you're still in chat, then let us know. But otherwise, this is a beautiful shot, and it's kind of difficult in terms of posing, I know, but just watch with these limbs being overlapping. Just try and have some separation between them, like either have this leg coming across here and the other leg coming out here, so that they're not completely hidden. Yeah, no worries, David. Yeah, I was just asking. We've got. I was just going over the setup as you've explained it, with regards to a light bouncing to the ceiling, the gobo, and then the light in the back room. Is your back room that sort of that beigey color, or have you gelled that back room light? So this light back here. Let's have a look. So I want to come in here. I'm just going to bring this. So what I'm doing here is I'm just bringing up the exposure here, and this fills in the shadows with some kind of false data, right? When I say false data, I mean dark gray as opposed to black. What that enables me to do is to color grade. I can't color grade pure black and pure white. So just having this exposure layer here just helps when it comes to adding a color grade afterwards, right? And we can just kind of play around with this a little bit just to try and tighten up some of these colors that we've got here. So I'm just going to have a I like to do these channel mixers in separate layers so that I can turn them off and on and see what's working and what's not working, as opposed to just doing, you know, all of the color grading in one. I'm not over the moon with this, but let's see. I feel like that was okay. Let's go back to the green here. Or is it the blue? Okay, that's warmed it up nicely, and so we're really locking in those tones of the skin. So what I want to do is I'm locking in the skin of the model here, as well as the background and the hair and that sort of thing, and that's kind of what I'm trying to do here, just to really give it a little bit more, a little bit of a tighter color palette. And where are we? Did I do anything in this one? Was this the red? Let's have a look. I don't think we need to do too much to the red, but yeah, it gives us something. We can add, let me just try something a minute, just to warm this up. We can add a color gradient here, and we could add like a softer, warmer. Hello? Oh, it's down there. So let's have a look. Let's try this. Just a warm. So this can add a little bit of warmth to the shadows. Now we can, like, darken is kind of a good one for this. Just adds a little bit of warmth to the shadows. If you wanted, you could go soft light and then reduce the opacity. And this kind of helps with just a final, like, warm wash on top, right? Just because I feel like, you know, the light that Dave's gone for here with the gobo, you know, we have this, you know, this light streaming in. I kind of feel like we wanna warm it up just a touch, just to kind of match the story that we're trying to sell here. So I'm not worried about it being accurate. I kind of want it to be colorful and actually use these colors to say something rather than about it being accurate or correct color, right? I don't think we need too much contrast on that. That warms it up even more. Yeah, that's probably maybe too much, but anyway, yeah. So you can see what I mean. Just about brightening it up and just giving these colors, just taking away, feel like a little bit muddy, just freshening them up a tiny bit, you know. Just really bringing out some of those blues and some of those, and then really getting all these, like, skin colors of the hair and the skin and the color behind, just really locking them all in. Okay. It was a beige. Yeah, I thought it might have been. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Very cool shot though. Yeah, beautiful lighting is absolutely bang on, Dave. Yeah, absolutely love it. Yeah. Really good. Alex says, I changed my setup away from darker shadows and more towards bright colors. Tried to not pick colors that would neutralize. Love it. And kept the light in front higher up. Love it. Yeah. One big softbox is the backlight and a 60x90 in front of the model. Okay, nice. Yeah. Shutter speed 125th, 5.6 ISO 100. Alex, this is fantastic, man. This is really good. Yeah, this is huge. You know, huge step forward from where we were. Got a lot of data in the colors here. That softbox is in nice and close. We have this beautiful large specular highlight here. It's really nice. You know, you wouldn't get that if it was too far away. So having that having that light in super close also means that we have this nice drop off of light. Yeah. We've spoken about this before, but we have this light here and then it drops off to shadow, okay, before the next color comes in. Absolutely nailed it, mate. Absolutely bang on. Bringing that light in close like that enables you to really control that drop off of light. Really, really nice. Really, really nice. And again, you know, like the pink here, I would say done a really good job to not clip the pinks. You know, it would have been very easy, and it is very easy to clip the pinks by having it too bright. You know, we've got it just bright enough here so that it goes to white, and then it drifts around the face beautifully. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, really well done. It's very difficult to avoid, but I would maybe just lose that pink tip of the nose there. It's difficult to avoid when her hair's not on her face like that, so it's not really your fault, you know. But it's just something to bear in mind. Just in Photoshop, just reduce that pinkness. Yeah. But yeah, really, this is excellent, man. This is really good, Alex. Yeah, love this. It shows, you know, great control of light as well and color. So I think you've done a really good job. Yeah, really good job. Yeah, great work, man. Hey, no worries, Dave. No worries. Glad I could help, mate. Yeah. So Ian here shot this lovely lady a couple of weeks ago. It was 7 a.m. shoot. Yeah, it's too early. Yeah, use the JKix definitive color gel pack. What a legend! Available at all good JKix websites. Thank you, Ian. Yeah. Going into the shoot. Though. WWJD, what would Jake do? Like it. And this is what I came out with: 3 light setup, 2 color gels, and a beauty dish. The face on its lowest power. Okay. So this is really good, Ian. Yeah, this is really good, and we've got clear separation of color. You know, we've got the pinks on one side, and then we've got the orange on the other side, and we're using the model to kind of, you know, block and keep these 2 gels separate. So I think great job on that. None of these colors are overlapping or mixing. Beautiful work. Also like the fact that you've got a beauty dish here on the face at its lowest power. So I'm guessing that this little highlight here is maybe from that beauty dish. I think you were correct to be cautious with the power of that. You certainly don't want to have too much brightness there on the face to wash out those colors. So I'm guessing this is another highlight here from that beauty dish, so it looks like it was kind of in the right place, not too low, because maybe you see the catch light in the eye. So I would say you've done a really good job. You know, the beauty dish, I'd maybe gone just a touch more. I think you could have got away with it. Maybe you could have used like a CTO gel in there just to maybe just, you know, give it a little bit of warmth as well. But I think what you've done is good. You know, let's have a look at this in Photoshop real quick, because a couple of things I want to talk about. Alex says, luckily I had a step-by-step guide to try and get the light balance right. Yeah, nice. Yeah, I'm glad you so there's an article on my website that Alex is referring to. I think it's called the pastel wrap setup. So yeah, that's what Alex was referring to. Yeah, absolutely nailed it. So Ian, what I wanted to talk about here, and what I was kind of concerned about, was I'm very wary of always having like a jet black background in my images. So I would usually shoot against a dark gray to kind of stop that from happening. So I just kind of want to show you what I mean here real quick. So I'm going to try and select the subject using the cloud. Did it do it or not? Or is it thinking about it? Okay, cool. So I thought I clicked it, my bad. Okay, so let's just refine that real quick. Using the legacy. I apologize if you can hear any beeping. There we go. Right, so let's just real quick refine this hair. Okay, that's fine. We don't need to be too precious with it. Let's just grab that. Now what I want to do is so at the moment we've got a mask for her. We want the background mask, and what I want to do is I want to make this background, you know, dark gray again. Yeah, I don't want it to be pure black. So I'm just going to bring that off. Oh, that's the wrong one. let's try, maybe that's too much. Let's try that. Okay, so now that's dark grey. I also, now it just looks weird with her being jet black here in the front. So let's add another one, this time without the mask, and let's just add just a touch more of this. So let's come back here and take a bit more off the background. Yeah, I think that could work. Okay, right. So now the background is dark grey as opposed to, you know, pure black. And then this foreground, and then her body is, I've just taken away any of the pure black areas as well. Okay. So, one thing I might just do here real quick is actually just see if we can just get a handle on some of these highlights, some of these really bright areas. So at the moment I've just used apply image, I've just grabbed a mask. So at the moment I've just masked out all the dark areas, and I just want to now see if I can darken some of these highlights. So you see, as soon as we bring down these highlights, we get some of that color coming back, right? And if it does shift the color, you can always switch this to luminosity. So now let's just darken down some of those highlights. It's looking good. Okay. So I normally color grade with Channel Mixer, but let's do something a little bit different this time. So let's do some color grade in here with regular curves. So we've got this pure deep dark gray background here, which we kind of, you know, it's okay, but we kind of want to give it a little bit of personality, right? So I'm just going to play with this curve a little bit. I'm just looking at these highlights here on the back. So the blue is just going to add a bunch of blue into the heavy shadows there. This is going to add just a nice little kick to these highlights here on the face, just adding just brighten up those highlights on the face a little bit. And then we've got the reds here. So let's have a look at what that's doing. Yeah, that's kind of nice. So that's just kind of adding just a little bit of a color grade and really trying to bring these shadows all together. Now, if you really wanted, we got a little bit of flare up there. We could, that's not what I wanted. What I wanted was this gradient. So we could have, yeah, something like that. And then just grab a purple in there, like a bright purple. And then bring that across, knock that back to like soft light. Take that back to like 70%. Yeah, nice. Okay, so just like, this is what it was before. You know, it's almost like a bit of a cutout with that very heavy dark background. And then here we're just kind of trying to give it a little bit of life and just adding a little bit of tone and color grade to the pure black background, and then locking in that color grade with the shadows on her skin as well. But I think that's good. Like I said, lighting was great, man. Yeah, lighting was really good. Bang on. Keeping those lights separate was brilliant. Yeah, really good. So we've got Tony's shot here. Let's have a look. So Tony's always does a lot of cosplay shots, whether it be on location, in the studio, at events. Yeah. Hey, no worries, Darius. Yeah. See you again, buddy. So Tony says more cosplay. This time the background is created by me with a single fireball, duplicated and then different basic Photoshop effects applied. Really, that's cool. Interesting. I thought you were going to say that was going to be AI. Yeah. Take care, Darius, man. See you next time. Yeah, I thought you were going to say that was AI, but okay. Yeah. Again, just maybe I think if we could darken him down a little bit compared to the background, so some of these highlights are a bit bright, and that would help to bring out some of the richness in these colors. So I think we could definitely get away with just darkening him down overall, and I think that would help to bed him into that background. But I love the fact that you were playing with the Photoshop effects on that fireball. Yeah, really cool. So we've got Renee here. I've been working with gels for years, but I recently converted to Pro Photo. This is a photo using my new setup at D1. Okay, that's fine. D1 light with a cyan gel and beauty dish with grid above the model. B1 with magenta gel and grid camera left behind the model. A1X with yellow gel and grid camera left with an LED light camera right. Okay, so we've got a lot going on here. Long exposure, great control of the light, really interesting model with fashion and styling and that sort of thing. Yeah. Ian says, interesting thought about the cutout. I have a look at the grey background on the next shoot, thanks. Yeah, so I mean, I just use a grey background, and then I kind of like the model is and the lights are closer to it than you may think, so it kind of allows the lights to spill back there a little bit. So like, here, this is she's wearing a black outfit that's not shiny, and so if this had been a black background, this would have been, you would have been unable to see it. So this is like this is like a dark grey backdrop, and just allowing the teal key light to kind of spill back there. So she's close enough back that that's kind of spilling back onto that grey. So that's what's happening there. Let's have a look at Renee's shot here a minute, just in Photoshop. And let's have a look. Let's use something different here. We got selective color here. So here we can target some of these colors, right? So that blue, that cyan teal color that you've got there is a little bit bright for me. So I just want to rein that in a tiny bit. And I'm gonna try and bring this sort of, because this was a very kind of greeny blue, I kind of want to bring that in more in line with the dress that she's wearing here. Okay. And then this magenta here, let's see what we can do with that. Let's see if we can darken that down to bring out some of these colors. And then let's try and harmonize these colors a little bit. So we'll try and go more purpley if we can. Yeah, okay. Okay. Right, let's put a exposure on here. Okay, and let's have just a quick play with this. See if we can tighten up this color palette a little bit. So just trying to bring these blues and purples in line a little bit, just to bring these teals and blues just more in line. Let's try. Yeah, it's looking good. And then the red may isolate that there. Let's see. Yeah, it does. Okay. Okay. Yeah, okay. All right. And let me I'm not happy about these heavy shadows down here. I'm just going to see if we can kind of fix that on that side. I'm just going to raise the black point of this blue here. and then feather it back in with a gradient. Linear, not spherical, would be great. Okay, so I've just lifted the blues on that side. Okay, I think it's looking good, and I would probably just tighten up this crop just a touch. So just about trying to rein in that color palette, so it's not you know, too many different colors all over the place. Just rein it in into this one uniform color, and then this effect that you've added just really stands out. Okay, but love the shot. You know, really well executed. The retouch on the skin and stuff is really good. Yeah, he's done a great job there. And then we got Giles here. Take a busy event against a bad-looking concrete wall with two EOS 2s. The rotor lights shot side by side on the model. Background placed in Photoshop and color graded in Lightroom after. And I was just basically saying that he's done a phenomenal job with this in terms of, you know, at a convention center, right? Giles has done excellent work here. Like concrete wall, he's added that logo in back there, and I mean, yeah, I wouldn't have known that this was at an event. You know, he's just grabbing somebody and then photographing them. He's done awesome work. And normally I'm not a fan of this heavy sort of crunchy sort of high pass sharpening grade, but I think it works really well with the kind of metal work and the fabric that we've got on this character here. And he's done a really good job with the post pro in this. Really cool. Yeah. You know, it's not overly lit, it's still mysterious. Like the lighting I feel matches the character. You know, it's not just, oh yeah, cool, he's wearing this outfit, but yeah, let's still do a beauty 3-light setup, key fill and hair light. You know, he's kind of using a light that makes the character look a bit more sinister, with a lot of shadow and stuff. I think it's, yeah, really good. Yeah, really cool. When we start to do that effect with the crunchiness of the, you know, high pass and that sort of thing, just be mindful that we're exaggerating some of the colors on the face with that. Like sharpening is just increasing the contrast of adjacent pixels, so I would personally just maybe soften the effect on the face. Love it on the outfit, just maybe soften the effect on the face. But yeah, otherwise really cool. Really cool. Okay then, awesome, well done guys. Incredible images as always. We went a little bit long there today. I think it's probably because you guys were talking a lot. It's definitely on you. But yeah, really great images posted again. Just did some quick color grading in there. Went over in the Lightroom some of the different setups and shoots that I was doing over the weekend. Sort of explain those. You know, speaking about how we can use, you know, Kelvin with daylight just to give our images a little bit of a different look, as opposed to worrying about it being, you know, white balanced. How we can kind of push those colors to tell a bit of a story, and then yeah, finishing off with going through your shots and playing with the images. But yeah, super creative work again. Yeah, really creative work, guys. Absolutely amazing. Yeah, super. You know, really colorful. You know, obviously apart from Daz, but you know, he's practically new here. But yeah, really colorful work. And really creative lighting, a lot of gobos and stuff going on here, different modifiers and stuff. Yeah, really good. Yeah, really cool. Yeah, and John, you know, hats off to John for shooting like all this crazy color and modifiers with film. What a legend. Yeah, fair play, man, fair play. Right then, guys, let's kind of close this out. Thanks so much for everybody tuning in, and obviously, you know, extra special thanks to people who posted an image. You know, because it, you know, it takes you know, nerve to put your work out there and get some feedback and that sort of thing. So appreciate you doing that. It was great to go through it all. Don't forget my online workshops still available. Still doing a bunch of those, mainly with the Americans from all over America, which is good. Yeah, we had North Carolina, Florida, Chicago. Yeah, I mean, all over, man. Yeah, we've been busy on the online workshops, so check those out. They're all still in there in terms of more advanced lighting and color, how to make it work. So check those out. Obviously, don't forget there's tons of free stuff on the website as well. So if you stuck, got a shoot coming up, or I don't know what to shoot, loads of free lighting techniques on the website. Just scroll through. There's tons for you to play with on there. Some of the people in chat here today have been playing with them and sharing their work, which has been great. Love seeing. Not only do I love seeing your work, but seeing you trying out some of the setups that I share is awesome. Really, really good. Lastly, anybody's interested in Rotolight, almost forgot. They've just announced, like 2 hours before I went live, there's going to be a workshop in London. So they're doing a new one in London. It'll be the 5th of August. So it's coming up like 3.5 weeks away, something like that. So if you're interested in coming to one of my Rotolight events, where we go through, I'll be teaching you 3 lighting setups in the studio. I think we'll have 3 professional models on the day. Should do. But yeah, they'll be in London, so not outside London. This will be in London. So apparently Rotolight have had a lot of people asking for workshops to be in London, so that is going to be on the 5th of August, Saturday 5th of August, a few weeks. If you can make it, love to see you there. Check it out. I think that is it then, guys. All right, I'm going to get some dinner. I am absolutely Hank Marvin, so I will dash off and do that. Yeah, Alex, do it, Alex. Yeah, it'd be good. Yeah, it's a beautiful studio as well. I know, Dave. You keep banging that drum, mate. Yeah, north of the wall any day now. No worries, Miriam. Great to see you, Dave. No worries, Alex. Yeah, absolute pleasure. Thank you so much. And there'll be a VoD on YouTube as well in a couple of days. I've started to try and do that as well. So try and make it a little bit easier to watch that if you missed anything. But otherwise, guys, I shall see you in the next one. Take care. Stay safe. Bye.